Yes, yes, yes. Option C ನೇ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ. Option C ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೇವೆ. Okay. Yes, quickly note it down. Then try and do this. We've already done these types of questions. Again, three charges plus 2q minus q and minus q are placed at the corners of an equilateral triangle ABC. As shown in the adjoining figure. Figure illa. Figure now draw ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋಣ. Figure ಇಲ್ಲ. Okay. Side A, right? Side length ಎಷ್ಟಿದೆ? Side length A. Then the dipole moment of this combination is, okay, so let's draw a triangle, equilateral triangle. Okay, let's say this is plus 2q minus q minus q, right? Two p cos theta by 2 or p cos theta by 2 ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ? So this can be written as a combination of two dipoles, that is, this is p and this is also p. Yes, because if you take this dipole, the charges are plus q minus q, and the charges for these two are plus q and minus q. Okay. So you have two dipoles placed like this. What is the angle between them? Then extend madre. So this angle and this angle will be same. Since this is an equilateral triangle, this angle will be 60 degrees. So therefore this angle also will be 60 degrees. So you have P and P, two vectors making an angle of 60 degree. Resultant ಏನು ಬರುತ್ತೆ? Resultant of this 2 is root of, yes, p square plus 2p square cos 60 degree. So which will be what? P square plus p square plus 3p square ಬರುತ್ತಾ? Okay, so this is coming out to be what? Root 3 times p. Okay. Now what is the value of p? P is nothing but charge multiplied by distance between them. Charge multiplied by distance between them. So net dipole moment will be equal to root 3 times q into what is the charge between them? A. So this will be option C. Yes, this is a quadrupole. We have seen how do you calculate net dipole for a quadrupole, or if you have a combination of two dipoles, what do? You simply take vector sum of those two. Yes, vector sum of those two. You have P and P. The angle between them is 60. Right? If you know vectors, their resultant is actually what? 2p cos theta by 2. Yes, 2p cos theta by 2. The resultant of two equal vectors is 2p cos theta by 2. So here also you get 2 into p into cos of what? 60 by 2, 30 degree. This comes out to be what? Root 3 times p. Since p is charge multiplied by distance, this is root 3 into q into a. Yes. So I'm telling you, even if you don't remember this shortcut, if you remember the basic formulas, you will be able to do it. It's just that you'll have to do it faster. Right? Many of the tricks or shortcuts or all those things are derived from basic formulas. They're not additional points. They're all derived from basic formulas. Basic formulas ನೆನಪಿದ್ರೆ ಅದನ್ನು ಮಾಡಕ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. Yes. So if you have the capability of remembering all different cases and the shortcuts for all different cases, it's good. But if you don't, at least remember basics. Yes. Okay. Write this down. Right, electric dipole is placed along x-axis at the origin at a point P. A point P is at a distance of 20 centimeters from this origin, such that OP makes an angle of how much? Makes an angle of pi by 3 with x-axis. Okay, what is OP? OP is actually position vector of the point P. Okay, it is making an angle of pi by 3 with x-axis. If the electric field at point P makes an angle theta with x-axis, then the value of theta would be, okay, how do you draw the diagram for this? Right. So if you assume that this is origin, dipole is placed here. Then what they're saying, there is a point P which is at a distance of 20 centimeters from this origin, and it is making an angle of how much? 60 degree. What is pi by 3? Pi by 3 is 60 degrees. So if I take that this is O and somewhere here is this point P. Yes. So OP angle ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೆ? And OP is making an angle of of 60 degree with x-axis. Now at point P, the electric field is making an angle of theta. At point P, the electric field, let's say the electric field is somewhere like this. Okay. So this is the electric field at point P. With x-axis, it is making an angle of how much? It is making an angle of theta. So what is the value of theta? Yes, we have done these. We've already seen. If this is the position vector ನಾನು extend ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಯಾವ ತರ ಕಾಣಿಸುತ್ತೆ? So this is the position vector. Yes. Okay. ಈ position vector ಜೊತೆ angle ನಾವು alpha ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ, yes, what did we write the formula? That tan alpha, yes, is equal to 1 by 2 times tan. Or if you want to write it in terms of beta that we have already written, so you can write it as beta. What is beta? If you remember, we have written this tan beta is equal to ಈ ಫಾರ್ಮುಲಾ ನೆನ್ಪಿಟ್ಕೊಳ್ರಿ. ಏನಿದೆ ಈ ಫಾರ್ಮುಲಾದಲ್ಲಿ? ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಬೀಟಾ? ಈ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಿಕ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ಈ ಪೊಸಿಷನ್ ವೆಕ್ಟರ್ ಜೊತೆ ಏನು ಆಂಗಲ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ, ದಟ್ ಆಂಗಲ್ ವಿ ಕಾಲ್ ಇಟ್ as beta. And then what did we take as theta here? We took this angle as theta. This ನಮಗೇನು ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ಇದನ್ನ theta ಅಂತ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ, right? So this theta will be what? Now ಇದನ್ನ instead of theta, if I take that this is alpha, if I take that this is alpha, so ಈ ಫಾರ್ಮುಲಾ ಯಾವ ತರ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ? How do you write this formula? You can write this formula is like this: tan beta is equal to how much? 1 by 2 times tan alpha. Okay, you have to understand what is this. Alpha is the angle that the dipole is making with position vector, and then beta is what? Beta is the angle electric field is making with position vector. ಎರಡು angle position vector ಜೊತೆ measure ಮಾಡಿದಿದ್ದಾವೆ. Okay. So with position vector, dipole is making an angle alpha. With the position vector, electric field is making an angle beta. So tan beta will be equal to what? 1 by 2 times tan alpha. Now if you want theta, what is theta? Theta is written as alpha plus beta. Yes, theta is written as alpha plus beta. Okay, so from the diagram you write theta is equal to alpha plus beta. Theta can be written as what? Alpha plus beta. What is alpha? Alpha already it is given as pi by 3. Okay, so theta is equal to alpha already given it as pi by 3. Beta ಎಷ್ಟಾಗುತ್ತೆ? Tan inverse of half of tan alpha. Tan alpha is to root 3. So root 3 divided by 2. So can I write this as yes, right? From this, if you want to write beta, how do you write beta? Beta is simply tan inverse of tan alpha by 2. But tan alpha is how much? Alpha is 60 degree andre tan alpha ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ? Root 3. Why? Because tan 60 is root 3. Okay. So this is root 3 divided by 2. Tan inverse of root 3 divided by 2. Okay. Right. Again, so formula might be important, but along with the formula, what you have to understand is ಈ term ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಈ angle ಯಾವುದು, ಈ angle ಯಾವುದು. Okay. So what is this angle? Beta. Once again, see, this is the position vector. A position vector ಜೊತೆ electric field ಏನ್ angle ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ ಅದನ್ನ ನಾವು ಏನಂತ ಹೊಡೆದಿವಿ? Beta. And ಈ position ಜೊತೆ this dipole ಏನ್ angle ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ ಅದನ್ನ ನಾವು alpha ಅಂತ ತಗೊಂಡ್ರೆ, then the formula becomes like that. That is tan beta is equal to 1 by 2 times tan alpha. ಈ theta ಏನು? Electric field and dipole ನಡುವರಿಗೆ angle ಏನು ಅಂತ. Yes, what is this theta? This theta is the angle between electric field and dipole. Yes, sir. Dipole is along the x-axis. So dipole is along the x-axis, right? So dipole ಮತ್ತೆ electric field ನಡುವರಿಗೆ angle ಏನು ಅಂತ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, it is simply alpha plus beta. Okay. 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 So ಇದೇ ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡ್ರಿ, if dipole ನಾನು ಒಂದು 30 ಡಿಗ್ರಿ ಆಂಗಲ್ ಇಂದ ರೊಟೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದೆ, ಓಕೆ 30 ಡಿಗ್ರಿ ಆಂಗಲ್ ಇಂದ rotate ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ like entire, so instead of this, if I say that the x axis is not like this, the x axis is somewhere like this, okay, and angle here it is 30 degree, okay. So ಅವಾಗ electric field x axis ಜೊತೆ ಏನು angle ಅಂತ ಕೇಳಿದಾಗ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ it will be alpha plus beta plus 30 degree. Alpha plus beta will be angle with dipole, but with x axis ಅಂತ ಕೇಳಿದಾಗ alpha plus beta plus 30 degree. Okay. Any doubts in this? Because this is again a direct application of the same formula. An electric dipole is placed at the origin and is directed along the x-axis at a point P far away from the dipole. The electric field is parallel to y-axis. Okay. And OP makes an angle of theta with x-axis. Then, okay, how do you draw this diagram? Okay, so if you say that this is x-axis, this is y-axis, how is the dipole placed? Dipole is placed along x-axis, dipole is placed along fine. Then at a point P far away from the dipole, at a point P far away from the dipole, let's say this is the point P. ಏನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಅವರು? Electric field is what? Electric field is parallel to y-axis. Electric field is parallel to y-axis. So if I take this, this parallel to y-axis ಅಂದ್ರೆ x-axis ಜೊತೆ angle ಏನಾಗುತ್ತಪ್ಪ? x-axis ಜೊತೆ angle ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ? 90 degree. Okay, and ಮತ್ತೇನು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ? OP makes an angle of theta with x-axis. So this angle is theta. So basically they're asking what should be the angle theta, yes or no? Basically they're asking what should be the angle theta so that ಇಲ್ಲಿ electric field ಏನಿರಬೇಕು ಅಂದ್ರೆ dipole ಗೆ perpendicular ಆಗಿರಬೇಕು. ಏನಾಗಿರಬೇಕು? Dipole ಗೆ perpendicular ಆಗಿರಬೇಕು. So using this only, what will be the value of alpha plus beta? Alpha plus beta ಎಷ್ಟಾಗುತ್ತೆ? Alpha plus beta according to this given situation will be 90 degree. Or in this case here theta plus beta ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಕೋಣ. Here because they have given this angle is theta, na? So theta plus beta is equal to 90 degree, and we also know that what? Tan beta is equal to what? 1 by 2 times tan theta find ಮಾಡಬಹುದಾ? You have two equations, you have two variables, no? Theta and beta. You have two equations in theta and beta. So what I have to find? I have to find tan theta. Okay, so instead of beta, I will substitute tan theta. What is the beta? Beta is equal to 90 minus theta. Yes, so you will get tan of 90 minus theta is equal to 1 by 2 times. Tan 90 minus theta is what? Cot theta. Cot theta is equal to 1 by 2 times. So if you rearrange this, cot theta is 1 by tan theta, 1 by tan theta ಆ ಕಡೆ ಕಳಿಸಿದ್ರೆ tan square theta and 2 ಈ ಕಡೆ ಕಳಿಸಿದ್ರೆ we'll get 2 is equal to yes, an electric dipole is placed at the origin, then and is directed along the x-axis at a point P far away from the dipole. Yes, the electric field is what? Parallel to y-axis, which means it is perpendicular to x-axis. Okay. Then OP is making an angle of theta. And what is the value of this theta they're asking? So basically ಏನಾಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಈ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ P ಮೇಲೆ ಏನಾಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ the electric field is what perpendicular to dipole moment, right? The electric field is what perpendicular to dipole moment, right? So dipole ನೋಡ್ರಿ ಹಿಂಗಿದ್ದಾಗ dipole, right? Electric field at this point, what is the direction? This is the dipole. Electric field at this point is okay, because it is the axial point. ಅದೇ equatorial point ಮೇಲೆ ತಗೊಂಡಾಗ electric field. So electric field, as I said, if you go from here to here, what is it doing? It is turning this. So there will come a point where the electric field will be what? Perpendicular to this dipole. Our point yavadu andre, a point in the angle enirutte, angle is tan inverse of root 2. That angle is tan inverse of root 2. So at this point, the electric field is what? Perpendicular to. Now, if I take a point just here, or if I take a point just here, so what will be the angle it will make? This will make angle more than tan inverse root 2, and this will make an angle less than tan inverse root 2. So ಈ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ಸ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಈ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಿಕ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ 90 ಡಿಗ್ರಿ ಇರಂಗಿಲ್ಲ, ಇನ್ನ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಿಕ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ 90 ಡಿಗ್ರಿಗಿನ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಈ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಬಂದಾಗ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಿಕ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ 90 ಡಿಗ್ರಿಗಿನ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ. Which means if you want a point where the electric field is 90 degree, this point. ಇದೇ ಲೈನ್ ಮೇಲೆ if I take this point, this on this line only, if I take this point, ಇಲ್ಲಿ electric field direction ಏನಿರುತ್ತೆ same. Why? Because this point also makes an angle of tan inverse root 2. If I take another point here which is lying on this line, same. So if you join all the points which are making an angle of tan inverse root 2, ಯಾವ ತರ ಫಿಗರ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ನಮಗೆ? Straight line, right? So you'll get a straight line. We'll get a straight line. Yes. Now do you understand how it is a straight line? Because if you take any other point below the straight line, electric field 90 degree ಆಗಿರಂಗಿಲ್ಲ, ಇನ್ನ ಅದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. If straight line ಈ ಕಡೆ ತಗೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಿಕ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ 90 ಡಿಗ್ರಿ ಆಗಿ ವಾಪಸ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಟರ್ನ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. Just a minute, let me look at the diagram. Where is the diagram? Three identical dipoles are arranged as shown in the figure. What will be the net electric field at P? This is already done. Very yes. Minus root 2a. Only at minus root 2a. Okay. 2 point charges plus q and minus 2q are fixed on the x-axis at positions a, comma 2a from the origin. At what position on the x-axis? Null point. Okay. What is the distance between them? A. So distance between them is A divided by, it is opposite charges. Opposite charges andre, will it be -1 or +1? -1. Okay. A by root 2 minus 1. Okay. So A by root 2 minus 1, this can be converted. So this is root 2 square is 2 minus 1 square is 1. So this is A into root 2 plus 1. Okay. So if you draw this x-axis, where is this is 0, this is A, and let's say this is 2A. Okay, at A, what is the charge placed? At A, charge placed is, at B, charge placed is, at 2A, charge placed is. Now, whatever this distance you measured, this distance is from what? Smaller charge. So illinda distance ಎಷ್ಟಿದೆಪ್ಪ root 2a plus 1. Okay. So root 2a plus 1 ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಅದು? A plus root 2a will come somewhere here. This is A plus root 2A. So this somewhere here. So this is x is equal to minus root 2A. So if you want to write the position is x is equal to minus root 2A. Okay. Because this can be written as what? This can be written as root 2A plus A. So illinda A plus root 2A distance under this becomes what? Minus root 2A. Okay. Let's look at this diagram. So let's say I'll do so much for simple question. So there are three dipoles actually. Yes. So for these two dipoles, yes, this point is equatorial point. Yes, and for this dipole, this will be axial point. Right. So you can take this as yes. So let's take this as dipole number 1. Let's take this as dipole number 2. Let's take this as dipole number 3. Okay, B and C. At point P. First of all, what is the direction of dipole moment of dipole 1? Towards right. Yes. So then on the equatorial point, what will be the direction of the electric field because of this? It will be opposite to the dipole moment. It will be towards left. Okay. So at this point, electric field because of 1, it will be left. So shall I write this as E1? Yes, it is the electric field because of this dipole number 1. Now what about dipole number 2? Dipole number 2 is pointing towards right. So for this dipole also, point P is what? Point P is equatorial points. Equatorial point andre idu dipole moment right andre idar electric field enagade left. So E2 is also what? Left. Okay, E2 is also. What about dipole number 3? For dipole number 3, this point is a axial point. So if it is an axial point, ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ dipole ಯಾವ direction ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಅದೇ direction ಅಲ್ಲಿ electric field. So E3. So this is the diagram for the point P. Is that because of dipole number 1, electric field will be towards left. Because of dipole number 2, electric field will be towards left. And because of dipole number 3, the electric field will be towards right. Okay. 0, right? So dipole number 1 and dipole number 2, dipole moments are same. Distance of this point is also same. So what will be the electric field? E1, E2. E1 will be what? Kp divided by x cube, yes or no? And what will be E2? E2 will also be equal to Kp divided by x cube. So what will be the value of E3? 2Kp. E3 2Kp divided by x cube. Why? Because E3 is axial electric field and E1 and E2 are equatorial electric fields. Now, how do you calculate the net electric field here? The net electric field will be E1 plus E2 minus E3. E1 plus E2 minus E3. So E1 plus E2 minus E3 is coming out to be Is this fine? Yes. Will you look at next questions? Yes. This one is fine. This one we've done. Please write it down. Electric dipole is kept on the axis of a uniformly charged ring at a distance. Okay. At a distance. Now, this should be. Please write down at a. An electric dipole is kept on the axis of a uniformly charged ring at a large distance. Okay, make it at a large distance from the center of the ring. The direction of the dipole moment is along the axis. The dipole moment is P. The charge on the ring is Q. And the radius of the ring is the force on the dipole is. We've done similar question in yesterday's class. We had an infinitely long line charge, and then parallel to this we had placed what? A dipole. Force ಏನು calculate ಮಾಡ್ರಿ ಅಂತ ನಿನ್ನೆ discuss ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ. This also is similar to that.